All right, we will call the meeting at 6:31 p.m. Roll call. Terry Werner here. Matthew McGovern
Here.
Maury Domingo. Mike McLeod.
Here.
Sam Houston Clinton.
Here.
All right, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Mark's not on the other.
He was supposed to be here next week, but he's here in person is Tuesday. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible. The Texas Pledge. On the Texas flag. Allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one nation. All right, and public comments. Ms. Deanna. No, while she's getting them queued up, there are cookies and there's some sparkling water or regular water. If you would like some, please help yourself.
So first one, Jim and Deb Seamers. To Martindale City Council, accepted urgent complaint regarding the hazardous condition of River Road. Dear Martindale City Council, I am writing to formally express my serious concern and frankly my disgust over the unacceptable condition of River Road. As a resident who regularly uses this route, I am appalled by the sheer number and depth of potholes, the dangerously narrow lanes, and the overall neglect of this vital roadway. The current state of River Road is more than just an inconvenience, it is actively damaging vehicles, including time and creating a significant hazard for motorcyclists and bicyclists who are forced to swerve or ride perilously close to traffic. It is only a matter of time before a serious accident occurs if it hasn't already. To make matters worse, River Road is not just any back road, it's a crucial alternative to Plug Road. It is itself extremely dangerous, especially when attempting to enter or exit Highway 80, with Fall Run being unsafe and River Road nearly impassable. Residents and commuters are left with few, if any, reliable options for safe travel. This situation is not just frustrating, it is unacceptable. The lack of maintenance and infrastructure investment on River Road demonstrates a failure to prioritize public safety. I urge the City Council to immediately allocate resources to repair and widen this road before someone is seriously injured or worse. Please take this letter as a formal complaint and a call to action. Our community deserves safe, drivable roads, and right now River Road is anything but. Sincerely, Jim and Deb Seamers.
If you ever need an ulterior career, you could be like an auctioneer.
And then Christina Jones.
Can you slow down a little bit, just a little bit? Thank you.
Hi, Diana. I hope this email finds you well. I would really appreciate it if the city can find a way to repair the road. It is the road. It is a horrendous road to drive on. Many times I've bottomed out my SUV on a pothole or had to move my car to the dirt on the side of the road in order to not get hit by somebody driving the opposite way. 2 cars can't pass safely for much of Northwest River Road between the constant potholes and narrow roads. It is pretty unsafe to drive on. I hope there is a resolution to be found to continue the project. Christina Jones, 308 River Ranch Circle. Jay Adam, River Road repairs. Hi, Diana. I would like to have this read at tonight's City Council meeting. I've lived in around Martindale for the past 13 years and have been very proud to be part of the community. I regularly share with others how it's a great city. These roads, however, are not great. In fact, they're quite dangerous and not a positive reflection of Martindale. We should all be proud of all aspects of our community, and now it's time to act. With funds now available, it would be a terrible loss to not give the worst road repaired. Any time there is a reasonable amount of rain, it's just too dangerous to drive on River Road, especially near the schoolhouse where the water stands for days and occasionally weeks. As I understand it, the city does not act now. It could be responsible for $1 million. For a town of about 1,000 residents, that would be tremendous burden on the citizens of Martindale and would significantly transform the city and not in a positive direction. Please act now to upgrade this critical Martindale road so it can be on par with the rest of the fantastic city. Lockhart Inn road repairs. To whom it may concern, I'm a resident of San Marcos River Ranch and I use this river road every day, so yes, I am all for the road repairs. Arcana Gandhi, 121 River Lakes Lane. Thomas Will, road repair. Ms. Guevara, I'm writing this brief email to note that it is comical to suggest that there is no broad public support for the proposed road repairs along River Road. The condition of the road itself is deplorably bad, and is actually a danger at times due to potholes and broken pavement. It would be a huge mistake to not exploit the opportunity to use grant money to improve the road. If anybody is opposed to this proposal, it can only be due to hidden self-interest rather than the good of our community. Best regards, Thomas S. Will. Austin, Texas. Mike Russell.
Me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Good evening. Somebody speaking on the stream, know who I am. My name is Mike Russell. I serve on 3 boards currently. One is San Marcos River Ranch. The other one is the National API Board of Directors. The American Petroleum Institute. The third one is the properties that I own in April Sonic that on that board in 2014. I am representing the Hall of Fame in this particular case. And general concerns are with the condition of the road as it currently exists and the necessary repairs to bring it to a much better, higher quality, better accessibility road for this community. The Halls, as you know, own both commercial and residential properties within the city of Martindale. They are very loyal, strategic, smart, and very ethical business people. What I have found since I've been here the last 2.5 years is the inaccessibility to go to Martindale on a regular basis without going through the back gate and across the bridge, which for several months while the bridge is being repaired, we had to use this road. We do not use it anymore. So I'm not really suffering, but other people are. And that's another reason I'm here. The other thing that is even more disappointing is the fact it's an eyesore. For anybody that drives in here for the first time, and they drive down that road, they wonder, what's wrong with this place? And this is a good community. This place is a very wonderful place to live. There's a lot of wonderful people there, and there's a lot of very powerful people that are very smart that are trying to help this community grow, including us. The cemetery issue is a legal issue. I understand that, but that cemetery can legally, in the state of Texas, be taken into the municipality. It is not difficult. I'm well aware of the law, and I have counsel that is working with me, okay, on this. But that can be done. 3 things happen if you do that. 1, it's properly maintained. 2, you get to dignify it. And 3, with the road improvements, you get to protect it. Because the drainage that they are simply natural right now, and a culvert would protect the road. You get a major washout on that road, it's gone. And you're gonna have a huge repair problem because it's gonna take everything above it from the schoolhouse down with it, okay? Lastly, the mitigation issues are simple. Conduits are used every day in business. I'm in the oil and gas business, okay? We move fluids every day all over the world. So that's a non-event. The other thing is I think there's a certain lack of, from the timeline standpoint, as I understand it, there's been a lack of fiduciary responsibility to accept this grant and move forward with it in a good way. And that is basically the way we feel. The people at SMR that I know are all friends of Martindale, and we want to help. And we want to be a continued participant in helping this town grow. But we'd like to see some action on your part to get this road fixed, to get things down the road. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Robert Harrington. Please do everything possible to fix, repair, and improve River Road. It currently is detrimental to the city and businesses working to attract people who support the community. This includes people accessing the river, restaurants, and churches in the area. 114 River Ranch Circle. Howard Hall, River Road repair. Please accept my vote and support of the River Road repair. We are owners of the duplex of River Road on the G and H rental properties, and especially look forward to the drainage repairs. The driveway to our duplex often gets flooded at River Road due to poor drainage. So there are many advantages to this project. Thank you. Howard Hall. David Jones. Hello, my name is David Jones, and I lived in Martindale for 7 years and have had multiple incidents where my tire took damage to the potholes on River Road. Recently, I had replaced a cracked rim on my car due to a pothole with watering and didn't realize the depth. I want to express my desire to have the mayor take this money and repair River Road for Martindale residents. Thank you. 526 River Ranch. Reedy. R-E-U-D-Y. River Road. Ms. Guevara, it is my understanding the city of Martindale has the opportunity to receive a grant to improve River Road. It's also been told that there are some citizens who are opposed to the project as a frequent use of the river road. I can say I don't believe that there's a worse road anywhere, and in spite of citizens' complaints, it needs to be repaired. It doesn't drain, so the water destroys any base that might be there, potholes everywhere that are large enough to damage a vehicle, might be a liability for the city. Please use the Ranch Brook River Road. 203 River Ranch Circuit. Brett Howell, please repair River Road. I am in support of repairing River Road. There's no doubt that it needs improvement at some point. There will be no choice but to repair it. Please take advantage of any funding currently available. Brett Howell, 917 River Ranch. Jack Loeffler, River Road. To whom it may concern, River Road is a hazard and it should be repaired. Nancy Amoroso, River Road. To whom it may
Excuse me.
concern.
I'm sorry, can I interrupt? I'm in person, so can I speak and say that and read it?
Oh,
Yes,
absolutely.
Okay. Sorry, I submitted something as well, but I wanted to say it in person if you don't mind, so thank you.
Good for you.
So this one is essentially the same thing, right? The what you
Yes,
told me?
it's pretty much the same, yeah. Okay, good evening, Madam Mayor and honorable city council members. My name is Nancy Amoroso, and I am a resident of the San Marcos River Ranch community. I'm here tonight in support of the 6.7 million grant designated for repairs and maintenance on River Road. As residents, we depend on River Road as our primary route in and out of our neighborhood. With the increasing difficulty of navigating the intersection at Quail Run Road due to the flashing yellow lights, River Road becomes even more critical for daily commutes, school transport, and access to emergency services. The current state of River Road presents real and growing safety concerns. Deep potholes, edge deterioration, and insufficient shoulder space not only contribute to vehicle damage, but also increase the risk of accidents. With narrow lanes and poor visibility in certain sections, drivers are often forced into hazardous maneuvers to avoid road damage, something specifically, especially dangerous during inclement weather. Beyond personal safety, the poor condition of River Road poses a liability risk to the city and county. As development in the area increases and traffic volumes rise, particularly with seasonal visitors accessing the San Marcos River, the likelihood of accidents and related claims will also increase. This is not just a neighborhood issue. River Road serves as a vital corridor for emergency services, school buses, and utility access. As a retired law enforcement officer, I can attest to the importance of reliable infrastructure for first aid response. Delays caused by deteriorated roadways can mean the difference between life and death in critical situations. Additionally, from an economic and tourism standpoint, River Road plays an important role in welcoming visitors to our area. A well-maintained roadway creates a positive first impression and supports the safety and enjoyment of tourists, many of whom contribute to the local economy through river recreation, dining, lodging, and retail. I urge the council to consider not only the immediate need for repairs, but also the long-term benefits of investing in infrastructure that supports safety, emergency access, economic growth, and responsible development. River Road is not a back road. It is a main artery for residents and visitors alike, and it deserves the kind of strategic investment that reflects its importance to the city. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Travis Davis. Hello, I'm emailing to let you know I'm a Martindale citizen and I am strongly support the fixing of the road. The window in my Bronco broke after hitting a pothole and I regularly have to avoid the road completely because it is awful to drive on. I may come to the meeting, but just in case. San Marcos, Highway 123. Lockhart Inn, River Road repairs. His name is Arcana Gandhi. My name is Arcana Gandhi and I live in San Marcos River Ranch, so I drive River Road every day and I'm all for the repair because it's really so bad, so please, Lake and others. Susan Shu.
Thank you, Deanna. I have really two topics to address. One on the River Road. issue. I support that River Road needs repairs big time. And I actually was wondering, since we've had a stop work order from the Historical Commission of Texas, it's my understanding that the engineer gave us two other options that we could use for the culvert. If we move the culvert away from the cemetery, it seems to me that the Historic Commission might be satisfied, and then the project could move forward, because right now we've been told we can't put a shovel in the ground because it's by the cemetery. So consider the other two options, but also look at the rest of the roads in the town. I'm so happy to see an agenda item where somebody's talking about planning. Ever hear that? We need some planning for the entire town. How are we gonna maintain roads? How are we gonna get the money for any of this stuff? Will it be 1, 2, 3 years? What are the priorities? The citizens need to come in and have some comment on that. So I'm a huge supporter of what you're looking to do later. The other topic I wanted to address was to Mike McClapp. Mike, we've heard a couple of instances of you not being able to control your anger recently.
Oh, really?
And we all saw
You're
it.
not allowed to speak,
Oh, I'm sorry.
just a reminder.
Sorry.
And we saw it at the last meeting when you guys were talking about this project. It was on display clearly that night. That's just unacceptable for a council member. It really is. And if you've got that much anger about your candidate not winning and you can't control it any better than that, then dude, you're going to be an obstacle and you need to resign right away.
Excuse me.
Dorothy McGovern.
Yeah, thank you, because I will follow her.
Hi, I'm Dorothy McGovern. I reside at 213 Northwest River Road here in Martin.
Okay.
Okay. This evening I was hoping to get an update from the township council regarding the special meeting that they had on Monday regarding with the GLO. When I saw that it was not on the agenda, makes me wonder what's going on. What is the update? What is going on with the Historical Commission? We are all aware of the broadcast that KXAN did this week. It was on TV, it was on Facebook. Everybody had their opinions on that. But what I'm not hearing is anything from the council. Have we talked to the Texas Historical Commission? Have our lawyers said we're not going to talk with them? So again, I want transparency. Can the council please let the public know where we are? Is this dead? Is it not? Yeah. Now I have to bring this up because I am so angry. And if y'all know me, I usually don't get angry. But there was a public comment on Facebook, accusations were made regarding alternative plans for Northwest River Road grant. And I want to get the facts correct. And I want everybody to know this because probably most of you weren't here when the grant was actually approved by the council, including Sonia Villalobos, Lisa Allen, Jan Bunker, and then by Mayor Davini. Okay? I was not living here at the time. I did not have a vote on whether I was going to get a new road or not. Okay? My husband was not here. We didn't get to talk about, oh, no, that's going to be in my way. Okay? That's what it was about. So when somebody comes on Facebook or in the middle of the street and accuses me or my family of having collusion with other people in city council, I take that very, very seriously. I am an honorable person. I hold myself to a higher standard than I hold others. This is not okay. Now, the information that is going on is that don't know. Did nobody not know about that at that time? Where was everybody? Nobody cared. Oh, we're getting a new road. Yay, yay, yay. Nobody cared where it came from. Nobody knew anything about it. Why not? I don't know. I wasn't here. Okay. Then, when we do move back and we come to start coming to city council meetings, because my property is affected. The grant writers wanted to take much more property than they needed of my land. And that was what I deemed unfair. And that's what I fought for. I fought for my property. I fought for my home that my parents left me. That's what I care for. Okay? What I have learned in sitting here for the last 4 years is that as these grants come in, the engineers are required to provide, and I don't know who it is, the GLO, right? Optional situations. Okay, this is what we want to do. Even on the KXAN newscast, there was a picture of the road. And the road, Northwest River Road, here's west, and it comes down, and there is the ravine right in by the cemetery. That was the initial plans, okay? So Turk and Freeland came up with 2 other options because they had to do that per requirements of the grant, is what I'm told, okay? And yes, one of the options was to go through my property and go straight down to the river, because there is an influx where it goes down, goes to the river. But if you were there at the meeting, you would know that the engineer stated that it would not work, because when you push water coming in at a different angle than the river flows, there's problems. Okay, I'm not an engineer, but I know it wasn't an option. Okay. The second thing, and this has just pissed me off because this person is just ignorant, when they start talking about the second case of going through Mayor Glaze's property. It was not going through Mayor Glaze's property. It was going to the property next to it. And that was the same problem, because that water was going straight into the floodplain. Okay? If you are smart enough, even I know this, that you cannot push and play around with water in the floodplain. FEMA will not allow it. It is not a viable option. Okay?
Dorothy,
Yes, please let me go on. Thank you so much.
I'm sorry, but you're gonna need to, you cannot stand here and comment on everything that happened on Facebook. If you could just summarize instead of going through every comment.
Well, I'm hearing the same thing that happened on Facebook. Susan just brought it up.
And you
Why the
have
other 2
responded, so could you please keep going?
I was finished with that question. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna finish this off. People in this town look to the leaders for their information. And that's where they're getting their information from. So the information that comes from the city council members and at these meetings, and the information that is not coming out, well, that's not right. I'm gonna step away from that. What I'm not seeing is transparency, okay? There is no transparency. People are getting information and they're calling me out on it. They're calling me and personally attacking me as someone who doesn't care about dead slaves.
I'm
Well,
sorry
guess
that happened.
what? No, guess what? This is pissing me off. I have ancestors who are slaves. So, yeah, that's what I want to do, is I want to go over there and tromp on a bunch of dead slaves' graves. Where did Miss Cumberman get that information, Sam?
Sir,
Why did-
I'm sorry,
why
but that's enough time. That is enough time. You need to wrap it up. Thank you.
Okay.
Michael Frank, River Ranch.
Hi, my name is Mike Frame. I'm a resident of River Ranch Circle. I live there with my wife and currently my mother, but my father lived there with us. We moved here or got the land in 2017, and when we started coming out to visit and looking to build, we would come down River Road. The state of the road in 2017 was horrible. It has only gotten worse since then. I don't think I have to tell anyone here the state of it, but I can tell you that as an alternative, we started turning on Quail Run, which is a much more dangerous road. So you have to choose, do you want the potholes, the dodging, no telling what's going to happen in bad weather, or do you want to take worse than a 90-degree turn to try to turn in and out of traffic while people are cutting around you? While my father was alive, he was undergoing dialysis. We would have to drive, and either one of those roads caused him physical pain driving through it. He would wince. It caused him to bleed at points where the seatbelt would hit his port. And since he passed, when my mother fell and broke her neck and then had a fusion of her vertebra in her neck, wearing a neck brace for 8 weeks, 2 separate times, having to ride down that road and watch my mother wince in pain as we were driving is unacceptable. It is the council's duty to look out for its community and to respect their needs and their interests. And it is fiscally irresponsible to turn down money if we have it accessible to make the repairs necessary. I'm an engineer by trade. This is core infrastructure. This isn't new construction. This isn't for maintaining for new business. This is existing residents we're talking about, people who have put their time, their money, their energy, their tax dollars here. And if you want this to remain a viable community, if you want businesses to come here and people to come here, not to move in and take over, but just to visit and see what a beautiful town Martindale is, and so that we can all continue to live here and enjoy and watch it prosper, you have to support that infrastructure. If the electrical lines went down, you would fix them. If the water lines went down like they did last week when we lost water due to construction, it was fixed and brought back up. You have to do that for roads. When my mother needs an ambulance, which she will, it is just a matter of time. And we call, and that ambulance cannot drive down the road at a sufficient speed to get her and get her to the hospital to save her life. Who's responsible? I am if I don't come here and speak today. And you are if you don't listen to this and act on it when you have the ability to do so. Thank you.
River
I don't even know that I have anything else to say, let's be honest. I think it's all been said. But what I will say is that as a real estate agent, I can see the lack of growth in this community. And it's almost as though the people that are running this town do not want growth. I don't understand that. We're never going to be able to do anything. We're never going to be able to pull people in. I'm trying to build a community down here on River Road. I put sidewalks in. I'm planning on fixing the road in front. But that's in front of the property. That has nothing to do with trying to get in, dodging cars, dodging children walking, elderly people walking, and animals. For crying out loud, we had to stop last week for a chicken. It's like,
Welcome to Martindale.
right. So from my behalf, as a professional, I need those roads fixed. And you need the money in this town that my project's gonna bring. So I don't think it's a question. I think it's when do we get this done? Everything else has been covered.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
I know it's not because you don't have to add it on.
Any opposed?
I am not speaking on River Road. Not at all. I go there if I have to go to my. Okay, last council meeting, I mentioned that the old worn out flags could be taken to the library. We've got your Boy Scout troop who will properly dispose of them. And the whole procedure to dispose of flags is very impressive. Next Friday, August 15th is the deadline to bring your flags to the library for their proper disposal. Our summer reading program was very successful. It ended July 31st. Two programs were very popular. One was Tiny Tales to You, we had little animals there, and also Mad Science. Okay, both those are science. I taught science for 28 years, that's my. Okay, the reading logs were also turned in. Okay, two different kids had the highest number of minutes. One of them had 30 hours. Okay, during the summer, getting a kid to read, that's about an hour a day for a kid. That's pretty nice. Okay, for adults, a husband and wife team turned in a combined total of 360 hours. I don't know if they had that many hours, but they did. Okay, this upcoming Saturday, August 9th from 12 to 2, a local author is reading from her books and having activities for children. Her name's Debbie Rothlow. She's from Staples. And she will read If Chicken Could Shop. Okay, these are for children. Y'all want to come here. Okay, the other one is Amelia Flum and her billion gazillion dollar secret. Okay, anyway, and she is from Staples. There's another author over there too. Okay, if you enjoy crafts, okay, Thursday, August 21st from 2 to 3 is Crafters Corner. That's for adults. And on Saturday, August 23rd from 11 to 12 is Arts and Crafts Hour, and that's for kids. These are posted on our library TV screen out there too, by the way. Our weekly programs include Lego Club, and now it's on Wednesdays. It's going to start now at 4:30. That's time change because school is starting. Okay, story time is on Thursdays from 11 to 12, and creative conversation. This has become very popular. This on Friday from 11 to 12. And there was the old coffee and conversation, but this is added coloring books. And I was in there the other day, stopped in for something other, and there were like 10 people in there. And we have, I think, 8 chairs. We had a dragon. That's my information. That's about River Road.
Marcy Roy.
I hope you don't interrupt me and tell me I can no longer speak.
I hope so too.
Yes, because I think what you did to her was extremely rude and inappropriate. All right, I'm a longtime citizen of Martindale, and my family founded Martindale. They were the Martindales. I care about this place, and I really appreciate all the people that are speaking up here passionately about Martindale. It's very obvious we need to get our act together. This is not sustainable. And I'd like to see people in this audience raise your hand if you think.
I'm
that
sorry,
the roads.
we're not allowed to raise, to do
Oh,
polls.
we can't ask them to raise their hand.
Right, you cannot, it's according to an ordinance that we have. You can't ask.
Okay,
the
well, I
individual
have a
people
feeling you
or
would
the
all
audience.
agree that the roads are the worst part of Martindale.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a physician and my job is to weigh the risk versus benefit of anything I do, a medication, a procedure, whatever. So I analyze this, the risk of doing the road project versus the benefit. And it's pretty darn obvious, okay? Those that are speaking against it are saying that those graves are in danger. We hear from our engineers, they engineered around that. It's not gonna happen, okay? Some people that are against the road, believe it or not, they have said they don't want the inconvenience of road construction. Give me a break. Can't say anything else that's nice about that. Okay. Some have said, believe it or not, they don't want growth. Okay, well, I'm sorry, you are not going to stop growth, but what you will do is select the growth that you're gonna get. I feel like a preacher. Amen. Oh, sorry, you're not supposed to speak. Okay. Okay, and then let's go on top of that. If we don't do this project, we've already spent money. We are liable for money that we have to pay back. And I'm telling you, we don't have it. Now let's talk about what happens as we try to pay back nearly $1 million, okay? We go in bankruptcy, let's face it. That's where we're headed. Now, I was part of this community before we incorporated. I saw the crime that existed. I was awakened by the speeding vehicles along Main Street when I was a little girl at my grandparents' house. You don't want to live in this community without good police. And I'll tell you what else happens. What fills in the void when the police leave? Crime. You know, down there, right at the dam, at the low water bridge, that used to be a haven for drug dealing. That's what's going to come in. On top of that, who do you think is going to be involved in our park down there at the 1979 bridge? It's going to be tubing, and that park is going to look like a moonscape. It's going to be debauchery. If I keep going, she's going to shut me down, so I won't go that far. Let's talk about if we do the project. We avoid that financial liability. We get a road that we can drive on. Now, we've got a lot more road improvement to do, but if we default on this grant, we may not be approved for future grants. That's a risk. So to me, it looks very obvious. Get that road done and get it done now.
Thank you. Okay, I'll try to keep it, well, best I can. Thanks for letting me speak. I have been bouncing, swerving down our Northwest River Road for the past 6 years I've lived here. It was in really bad condition then, it's even worse now, despite attempts to fill the potholes, which just keep coming back. Now, I understand that there is a $6.7 million grant that has been approved to repair this road and the associated poor drainage. Extensive planning and resources have already been allocated in this regard. Now, somehow, the Martindale Historical Commission has decided a nearby cemetery is in danger of being interfered with, despite not being well maintained for years. This is obviously just an attempt to once again block any improvements to our city, no matter how urgent, and I have seen this on multiple fronts for the past 6 years. Where was this commission when all these poor souls were subjected to chattel slavery before they perished? And where was the commission when the KKK came through here, ripped out their headstones and threw them in the river? Not repairing this important road is not going to bring these poor souls back. We should take every precaution to not disturb these gravesites, at least the ones that have already been defaced years ago. But subjecting our current citizens and visitors to this ongoing hazard, which is what Northwest River Road is unconscionable. Utilitarianism, as the document states, actions are right if they benefit the majority. I understand a vocal majority of homeowners do not want construction next to their homes, do not have the welfare of the citizens of Martindale in mind. They are simply being selfish and irresponsible. Some time ago, after someone put a knife to my throat at Allen Bates Park, another story, I began to walk my dog at the Skull Road Bridge, intersection of Northwest River Road. As I was heading for the river, a large car with poor shocks was barreling and bouncing all over the road toward me down Northwest River Road. Several small children were standing right next to the road there. Fortunately, the car was able to regain control and avoid the children and me that time. We can repair the road now or wait for a serious accident and loss of life. No doubt there will be an uproar for repairs then. Come on, Martindale, stop making excuses and fix the damn road now.
Quentin Matthews lives in city limits of Martindale. Unfortunately, the grant is not a road grant. It is a grant to help low-income citizens, flood mitigation. No one seems to understand that. And that's the end of public comments.
All right. You wanted to say something?
Yes.
State your name, Pat.
My name is Pat Fowler. I live at 101 Lockhart Street. right next-
119.
Oh, 191.
Don't be nervous.
What I want to say is, I just cannot get over the fact that all of this talk about who wants the river road fixed, who doesn't want the river road fixed, it's a lot of gossip and it's a lot of stuff that's being said against each other. I don't know who doesn't want the river road fixed. Anybody here doesn't want it? No, nobody. The problem is, people are so angry about it now. When did we get that grant? Where was everybody then? Why weren't people working on it then? Where were all of you?
We just now found out about it.
Exactly. Was this group in office then? No, they were not. I'm telling you, get rid of the anger. Support these people that are doing what they can to get this project done. It's so late in the game. Stop the blame game. Stop it. Give yourselves a little bit of dignity and support your local people.
Yes, sir. Just state your name for record.
Dan Bryant. I've heard a lot said on both sides, and the only thing I gotta say is about the graveyard. If anybody in here can tell me that one of their family members was close enough to the road project that they might have to be moved or the grave desecrated, would they still want the project? We're all sitting here in judgment and saying, well, it should go through, it's not gonna hurt anything, but the people that are there deserve to stay where they're at and not be disturbed. I think that's it. And the other thing I'd like to say is one thing to the council member. I think we need to follow the rules, and that's 3 minutes per person. I know that there was a lot of talk tonight, and I know a lot of people got upset about it, but if everybody, I've never been to a city council meeting yet where there wasn't a timer on everybody that spoke. If we do that, I don't think we're gonna have problems with anybody getting upset on the council or anybody getting upset in the audience. Everybody knows the rules going in. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just have a question.
Sure.
My name is Lawrence Howerton. I have property in River Ranch, but in doing search about this project, I don't find minutes from meetings posted online. Mike says that go to the YouTube channel and watch the YouTube. Is that meet state standards for open meeting?
Yes.
That's too bad, because it's really hard to disseminate information via video.
It is. It is. Okay, is there anybody else? All right then. We are not allowed to respond, obviously, except to, state a fact or, make a recommendation that we put something on the agenda regarding whatever was said. Otherwise, we're supposed to just be quiet. The only fact that I will state is that, this grant that you're talking about with the $6.7 million that's been on the news, that some people just found out about, other people have known for a while. That information, the piece that's missing is that that's 1/2 a mile, 0.5 of a mile. The rest of River Road is already going to be done. It's gonna have a complete makeover. And it is covered by other sources. We have a second grant from the GLO that will do from the one you're talking about tonight only does to the shoe tree, from Lockhart to the shoe tree. That's it, that's all. The rest of it, there's a second grant that will do from there to Quail Run roughly. And then there's a third thing, which is the Caldwell County Road Bond that y'all all voted for, I'm assuming, as long as you voted. And that is gonna do from Quail Run to 80. So that the majority of it is covered either way. The second grant is 2.7, I think, million, and the bond project is another like 2 million. The 6.7 was only to do 0.5 of a mile. It's just Lockhart to the shoe tree, that's all. The rest of it is being done. And in fact, before y'all came, last week, we met with Caldwell County because we do know that that road is a mess. What we've been trying to figure out is how much money do we put into repairing it when we know they're about to tear the entire road out and make a brand new road? At what point do you like continue repairing? Do we fill potholes? I've been in office 2 months. Those roads have been falling apart for decades, right? So we're working as fast as we can to get something done. So we have a bid from them, from Caldwell County, the street guy. He talked to Ed Therio, who's in charge of the road project, who said it won't start. And we kind of needed this information to fill the gaps. They will not be out here to start working on River Road from the bond until approximately next summer, maybe a little longer. So then that gave us leeway with Caldwell County to say, what can you do that won't break the bank when we know you're gonna come back and tear up the whole entire road? How much will that cost? So we have some figures tonight on the agenda. We're hopefully going to be able to discuss a little better how to do this planning and how to get a plan for not only getting that road, but all of the roads done that need to be done, and how much it will cost and where that money might come from, and include the maintenance so that we don't end up in this position again once we get all the roads done. So we are working on long-term planning. It takes a hot minute to get that done. And hopefully tonight will be a good first step in that direction. But I at least wanted to reassure you, I understand people are really, really, really torn up by this grant, by this road grant. That was not a pun that I meant. But it happened. It just happened. So we are working on the rest of River Road. The only part that we're not allowed to do, and we're legally not allowed to do it right now. It's not that we're trying not to. We can't. We have a stop work order, basically. So as soon as that, we don't have any updates. We have no updates. As soon as we do, we will make sure everyone knows. But right now, there are no updates. That's why it was going to be on the agenda. I told people it would be on the agenda. It's not because they didn't get back to us. GLO, we're waiting for them to tell us. We have no update. We have nothing. We know nothing more than we did the other day. So as soon as we know, I am happy to blast it from the rooftops. I'll get up on our newly working emergency signal and yell down to the river. This is what's going on. What GLO said. But right now, I don't have anything to say. I mean, because we don't know.
Mayor, can I say something? Mayor, can I say something quick? My campaign, I got elected in 2018, and my campaign sign said for the river, roads, and parks. And I worked with Donald McKirk, and I worked with Ed Thury, I know him personally. And that Northwest River Road has got a really good foundation. It's got a good base. It wasn't maintained properly. Look at Lockhart Street. Look at Lockhart Street. That's what they did with an overlay. You do not have to remove the total road base. I talked to Donald. He gave me an education. That road is holding up extremely well. You look at Skulls. The reason Skulls is so bad, it never had a proper base. If you watched 110 being built, they went down 12 feet because of this gumbo out here. I know about roads. So that took us 3 years to get that. But basically, work with the county like you're doing, and that overlay works. They do it all over the county. It's a very, very efficient way to fix roads. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you. So that's all I'm gonna say. Oh, you had a question?
What is your timeline for expiration of the grant?
1 year.
So effective what day?
Well, technically, the expiration date is the end of January of 2027. The problem is that the grant management people have told us, we have to be done like 3 months ahead of that so that they have time to close out all of the grant bills and budget and all of the stuff. So that would be like November or December of 26.
When is that applicable?
It is, the objective answer is we don't know. However, we have been told recently that as long as we can show that every penny we spent was spent in good faith effort to do the grant, which it has been. We have mostly just paid these poor engineers that have had to redesign 500 times, and the grant management people, the people that did the property for easements and the property surveys. Yeah. So it all was spent properly. And then they said, as long as we can say that and then show that the reason the grant failed was not up to our control, and it isn't. It's a lawsuit about the cemetery that we have nothing to do with. I mean, we're a defendant, but we're not part, we didn't cause it to happen. And the THC putting a stop work order on us until that lawsuit is finished, that is nothing we had any control over. We had gone through with the Historic Commission, we had gotten our marching orders, we had gotten all of our environmental clearances. They changed after they got more information. They changed their minds and said, well, wait a minute, hold on. We don't know who owns the cemetery. Wait and find that out, and then you can keep going, right? So at this point, the problem is, I actually asked GLO, could you please just push time? And then whenever this is settled, could we start time again? But they said, no, we gotta be done by the fall of 2026 to do it. So they said, as long as those two things are true, we spent the money in good faith, and this is something beyond our control. They cannot guarantee it, but they said they have had other cities that have been in that situation who have not had to pay anything back. And they said that like 3 times. So we are very hopeful, but it will be up to them to decide. And maybe, I have no idea, maybe they'll say like this much of it is forgivable and this much isn't. But they were very reassuring and very supportive of the fact that like we've hit all kind of road bumps, but having to stop is not our fault. We have to wait until the lawsuit's done. And that's gonna take however long it takes.
So you're saying that's what the GLO said?
That's what the GLO said like 3 times in that conversation that we had last week that we met on Monday.
Because when we talked to Alyssa, she said that's never happened before. Nobody's ever defaulted on a grant.
Nobody, she was saying Langford has never had a client that's happened for. But there's a lot of people that have grants with GLO that are not with Langford. So Langford hasn't experienced it. She can't tell you out of personal experience how it gets resolved. However, GLO said yes, we worked with at least one other city recently to have this happen. They were able to just present their case.
I don't remember ever hearing that. I don't remember you telling us that. I thought it was pretty much something that hadn't ever happened.
Oh, only for Langford. They haven't experienced.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and it was our usual GLO person supervisor who said that. So I felt comforted by that. But we don't know. I mean, we don't know. Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell us a little bit about the lawsuit going on with the cemetery? There's nothing.
I'm so sorry. I can't, but it is on file in Caldwell County courts. And you can go and get a copy of it easily and you can read the entire thing for yourself. And I'm really sorry, but the city attorney will choke me out if I start to talk about it because it's not.
Ready.
I'm so sorry, but you can get a copy of it.
Another question for you.
Yes.
I'm part of a conversation, and this has been probably 8 months ago, that a grant for roads had been lost. Is there a grant in the prior administration that was not followed through on?
Not that I'm aware of. Anybody know anything about a grant that was lost in the last administration that like they didn't get to do it? I don't think so.
Not for city council, not for the city, maybe for some other
entity. Oh, no.
No, but I mean, maybe another nonprofit.
The only grant that we applied for as a city that we did not get was the sidewalk grant.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. And the city reapplied for it, and we made the first cut.
I don't know anything.
No, remember the first meeting, you and I were meeting with
Texas Parks and Wildlife.
No, it's Texas, it's with engineers, and we resubmitted that, and we made it past the first cut.
And then I don't guess we've heard since then, but we haven't, that was.
Only 2 months ago.
And that was-
Fall.
Yeah, and it was just, that one was just one we applied for but didn't get an award. It wasn't like we got it awarded and had to like send it back or failed to do it.
This conversation was specific that it had been lost.
Oh, no,
No, yeah.
definitely
Not
not
my
that.
knowledge.
No, and GLO said they don't bear any hard feelings about the other grant, the one that's gonna do Quail Run area. Like, they told us specifically, don't worry, that grant is safe, it won't have any repercussions regardless of what happens with this first half a mile. So don't worry about, like, that we're endangering that. It's already been awarded, they're fine with it, it won't bleed over. They won't be mad and yell at us about that grant. So we're just gonna try to do our best, and we don't know. We have no idea what is gonna happen, and I would love to tell you, it keeps me up at night. But I just don't have anything to say about, where are we doing it, are we not doing it? It's fully dependent on how long that lawsuit takes at this point. That's all I got. Yes, sir.
The stretch that is under that grant you just spoke of, that's not Caldwell County's piece, what is the timeline on that piece of road?
It has been awarded initially, they were timed so that we would finish this first grant and then start the middle. And then by the time that was done, the county would be ready to go. At this point, we're very behind on starting that front part. So the second part, I believe the engineers had said they are just now at the stage of doing their engineer drawings and whatnot for that part. But so I would expect probably in the spring, they'll go out to bid on that one, because it'll take them a few months to get through the.
Some land acquisition.
Yeah, but not as much.
There's only a little land acquisition right by the bridge, the narrow bridge. But that one I know that was at least 2 years out past this other one. It's at least 2 years out, the cutoff.
The due date.
The due date is way out there. We have not ever filed this, as far as I know, the city's not filing an extension on that.
No, right.
It's still in the first,
Go around.
Yeah,
In its
go around.
infancy. Yeah, so I don't know exactly how long, but they're working on that, drawing up the plans now. And yeah, so we are gonna do, I hope, an intermediate bandage while we're waiting for these other monies to kick in, to get that road taken care of. Everyone knows it's a disaster. But, we're just right now in the middle of budget, so we kind of got to get everything in the right places to do that. But that's what we're hoping we will get passed in the next 4 weeks. And Caldwell County, actually, after they did their assessment of what needs to be done until the other monies are available, said they are really busy, but they will make time to do that road. They will fit it in because they said it is in such bad shape that it is a priority for them as well. So we will, it's just, we have to get everything worked out this next month during budget, and then we can call them and they'll get us on the schedule. So do not fear, it's coming. I promise.
Yeah, right of way is all settled on that, correct?
And you know what, Commissioner Terrio actually said that he is willing, because we were talking about especially by Skulls Crossing where it's so narrow, that he's willing to have them expand that road out a little bit wider into the right of way so that it won't bother people's property lines, but it would be enough to allow two cars to pass easily and to take some of the pressure off of turning in and out of the Skull Bridge area. So we're gonna work on that with Mr. Turk and Mr. Friedland, our engineers. Awesome. All right, anything else?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, then, we will move on. We don't have any reports this time, so roof update. So far, we have not had any more water damage to Fort CPA's cubicle. So we are hoping to go ahead and move on with the roof update. Mr. Carl Daniel has not agreed yet to go along with us. However, the roofers agreed to bring their price down to the same as it would have been, and to put a barrier in between the two roofs so that even if he doesn't do his side, our side won't get wet. So unless y'all let me know, otherwise we'll go ahead and just start to talk to them about setting up a time to do that project.
Well, and for those who may not know, you referred to Daniel Carl.
Yes.
And that's Carlton's nephew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he owns the properties that Carlton owned before. Then otherwise, website expansion, I am hopeful that by September 1, we will have the website expanded at the request of several residents. We'll have a grant page where all of the information about every grant we have will be available for you to look through. It'll have the actual grant contract, the amount, the deadlines, and where we are, some sort of updates that will be made so that everyone can know what's happening on each one of them and what they're supposed to do. Also, we will have a separate section for resident input on future projects and volunteer opportunities. Starting next month, also, we're going to begin around the table, and around the table is just a silly idea for a small town. I'm hoping to gain some more networking within the city so that more of our people know each other. Everybody knows the people that live in their neighborhood, but I'm finding that a lot of people don't know the people that live in all their neighborhoods that are all part of the city. So I'm gonna just start inviting 10 people to come to a potluck every month. And we're gonna make sure that they're from different parts of the city so that you can just sit down and talk, no agenda, no anything, just like, let's talk about Martindale. What do you want? What do you like? What do you not like? What are we doing here? And then we're gonna have a map on the wall where we put in pins for each neighborhood and how many people have attended from what neighborhoods. So hopefully we'll also put some quotes up from what people had to say at the dinner. And people will just get to know each other, and we'll be able to have an easy, informal way to just talk about our city and what's going on in it. Flood preparation and mitigation workshop, don't forget, August 27th at 6:30 p.m. We're gonna do a sign up on the website. You don't have to sign up to come. And actually it says August 4th, but I'm a little behind on that. We'll put it up tomorrow. You don't have to sign up to come. It's fine if you just show up. The only reason we put that on there at all is because if a lot of people come, we need to borrow Daniel's space next door. There's not enough room in here. So that, again, just a reminder, we'll have the information up on the website tomorrow, but It is to talk about both the Caldwell County's emergency, planning plan and also some research and flood modeling that has been going on with, some researchers from UT and Texas A&M who are trying to figure out if we do have a 50 or 100-year flood, what kind of structural changes can we put in place in the Martindale area that would make it less bad? It may not make it fine, but it would make it less bad. So one example, I have all of their slides because they asked me which one of these models, there's 5, should we really go in building up more? And I was like, I can't answer that. I have to talk to people. Like I need to get people's feedback and then I'll come back and tell you. So they sent me their slides. They watermarked them. I'm like, you think anyone's going to think I made them? They're like lots of flooding. Anyhow, one of them is to build some levees. I just get flashbacks of New Orleans when I hear about levees, but then I'm sure it's not like that. It's good levees. And then, I don't know. And then another one were these like enormous, gigantic, like the size of my head kind of retention ponds that are in flood areas already, but they like dig them giant. Another one was,
I don't think your head's that big.
yeah, right? And another one was buy out. And it was like 100 homes that are closest to the river, buy them all out. And I was like, nobody ever wants to do that. Nobody's gonna do, that's not a good idea. Cross that one off before I even talk to people. But like, let's talk about the other ones and see which ones you like. Yes, Mike?
Yes, I'm a river guy, as everybody knows. I've been through this a long time. I was a whitewater kayaker. I know about whitewater. Really, San Marcos is trying to do retention ponds. Really, you're talking years and years away. I think the most important thing is the sirens have a safety plan where everybody can meet, have alerts on their phone. Let's talk about the Guadalupe River. What a sad thing that happened. Tommy, Chief, could you come in and talk about reverse 911 to these people about the sirens and what you talked about and kind of say, we want to work on some kind of a.
So what we're working on, I'm working with Caldwell County's Emergency Management. They have an emergency management plan already for Martindale. What we want to do is we got our sirens back up working. They're working. We're going to start working and get a test going. We're going to set them off. We're coming up with a time and we're going to set them off. But we're also going to have those same tones on the website. We'll record those and put them on the website. Reverse 911, what that is dispatch reaches out and calls. It will robocall you, right? But only for certain areas. So we can designate all these houses. Mike McLeod's house is on the river. So it'll robocall all these calls and let you know, hey, you need to evacuate. We need to look at it. I need to look at it and see if it'll do what I think it'll do. What it did where I came from is it'll log that down. They got in touch with, they did not get in touch with Mike, let's just say. Now I have to exhaust my resources to send somebody there to Mike's house, pound on the door and say, hey, Mike, you need to get out. That way we're not going to every single house. Reverse 911 can do that for us. It just speeds everything up. That's just the thing that reverse 911 does.
Chief.
And it works for just everything and all other things too, not just disasters. I mean, if we need to get a message out, we can use reverse 911 for everything.
Chief, since all these folks think they're on the river too, is there any way we can incorporate with them?
So
for reverse calls.
So theirs is going to be different. I hear a lot of you folks are from across the river.
Yeah.
Guadalupe County has reverse 911 as well. So they will do the same thing. I'm Caldwell County. I deal with Caldwell County because our jurisdictional boundary goes up to the river, which is the county line, Guadalupe County line. So a lot of you guys that are in here tonight have to rely on Guadalupe County's reverse 911 system or their warning system. Y'all will hear our sirens when we set them off. So y'all will be able to hear that and know. I can't tell you which way to evacuate on the Guadalupe side. We're looking at putting some gates on our side so that we can close it off, so you won't be able to come across if we close those off.
Like that, you don't have to go down the river road to get out.
No. Making a bad day worse.
So that's our plan. So we're looking at buying 3 gates. right now to close off Skull Road and Johnson Street. So if there is a flood, we'll be able to monitor that. And then open them back up when those roads have been, those bridges have been inspected and say, hey, they're fake, go back across and everything so forth.
I had a quick question for you. On the reverse, did you say 119?
911, it's reverse 911.
Okay. Do we have to register our number?
No, it's already registered, so it knows.
Registration or?
So it knows like from towers. It knows who's in the area.
Okay.
So just like when you travel to New York City, they could say, you'll get an Amber Alert from New York City. It says, hey, it knows you're there.
Okay.
So it lets you know. So it knows where you're at. It knows the towers. That's some things I think this legislative session, the special session is going on. They're gonna address some of these things as well at the state level.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Okay, so, Assistant City Administrator. Tell us what you've been up to.
Okay, so hi everyone, I'm Javi or Javier. I'm the Assistant City Administrator. Nice to see everyone. So 2.2A, online building permit updates. So as council knows, we contracted with a company called Cloud Permit. They've been really helpful with everything. The only hiccup was on the function side of things with Bureau Veritas. Bureau Veritas has been having some staffing issues and they ended up letting go of the guy that sort of manages the area of Martindale. He was let go about a month ago. If that makes sense. About a month ago. Truthfully, he was no help for the Cloud Permit. He sort of tried to blow everything off of Cloud Permit. Wasn't really trying to incorporate Cloud Permit with the building inspection side of things, so that would be easier for the public to get a permit, schedule an inspection, and do all that sort of stuff. When he got let go, we basically had to relook at the permit situation. Now we have the regional rep helping us with Cloud Permit and fixing our permitting software and our online permitting software. And he has been an amazing help. He's met with us about twice already and completed about everything else that I was sort of not happy with. Before the regional rep started working with us, I was not happy with the situation Cloud Permit was in. I was sort of nervous to be I don't really want to put this out because it's not that helpful in my opinion. Got the regional rep on board and he's been extremely helpful. He's basically looked at the permit software and looked at everything and was this is wrong, put this instead. Or we could do it like this, so it would be easier for Bureau Veritas to get the information back to me. With that being said, we had a meeting this week. The individual was okay, all of that looks good. I'm gonna do a couple of tests on my end on the Cloud Permit stuff. We'll let you know how it goes. Hopefully by next week on Monday, I'm waiting for the invite, hopefully getting one tomorrow to schedule a soft launch of it to where we could, the next application we get will probably be done in-house, but through Cloud Permit, so that we, as a city staff and as Bureau Veritas, could actually do a run of how a permit will look like through Cloud Permit. And so I'm hoping that will be done. The soft launch will be ready by the end of the month, hoping for October to be officially posted on the website. Click on this link. This is how you're going to do your application now. So yeah, that's the building permit stuff. Any questions?
Yeah, I got a question. I got a question. Did you ever follow up on that structure on Northwest River Road, the Green subdivision?
I want to stick with the online permitting stuff.
But I'm just saying, I've been told by
Yeah.
Sonia, she's all concerned about it.
Yeah.
They are drilling pilot holes, or they're possibly putting here.
We're gonna talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna discuss it? Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I'll be quiet. Thank you.
So I know about that project, and what I hear you say is I don't have to worry about building inspections, right?
Yeah. So I guess just to give you guys a rundown on how it used to go, before the online permitting stuff, someone would come in here, have to fill out a paper form to do a permit. The permit used to get sent to the previous mayor's desk, and the previous mayor used to handle it. And then the whole purpose of this online permitting is to sort of to sort of get it out of office, and the companies will come to us if something's a little wonky or something that doesn't really make sense. Still have to do a building permit, but it'll be easier for the public or for individuals to schedule a inspection or see what exactly you're approved for, see exactly when you're gonna be, the expiration is done. So that's the goal of that.
You work in office here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll come see you Monday.
Sure. Okay, and then, planning and zoning application review process. So again, some more permit stuff. I've been working closely with our new law firm and their zone or their planning division. They have been really helpful. I would say that, the lady that's been helping us, her name is Amanda. And when we first started, she was like, okay, like I would want to meet with you to see what needs to get fixed or what needs to get updated and what needs to get revised. We started talking about the subdivision application, the building permit application, the scenic corridor application, and the SCP application. She was able to look at all those applications and sent me back a like revised version of what she thinks that we as a city need to fix and update and sort of reword to make it more easily accessible for people to apply for it. So I'm working on that with her. Hopefully, she was out of office this week, but I'm hoping to have that sort of ready by the end of the year so that we have the most up-to-date versions of these permits that's the easiest way possible for y'all. And with that being said, their planning group has also been like amazing to me. I'm not a planner in any sort of way, but I do have questions and I somewhat understand what's going on. And the planning group has helped me out tremendously, not just with the application and such, but just general planning of the city. We had like multiple times where someone's come in and it's like, what am I gonna do here? Or can I do that here? And I was like, I think you can. Let me check with the planners. The planners look at it and they're like, no, but we can fix that. And so that we add that to like something else that we're gonna talk about later on what exactly we're gonna look at in the future regarding zoning, regarding specific use permits, regarding what's gonna be allowed in the different zones of the city. So that's that. And then, sorry, but it's on here, but budget, have a budget portion. Sorry. So Dwayne and I, Dwayne is the city accountant for the city, have been working on the budget, trying to work on it to the fullest extent that we can. We plan on having a budget proposed by August 21st. That's the goal. Sticking with that. August 21st, we'll have a proposed budget for city council. Early September, we'll be having a workshop / budget hearing, public hearing. We do have a new portion on the website. It's called a budget postings. It's like, if you look at the website, it's on like the left side. There's like little columns, there's the budget postings. And there's stuff that's posted on there already, it's like tax rate stuff. Yeah, any other questions?
I just want to commend you for the work that you've done with us so far. You are called our assistant city administrator, but currently you are our city administrator because we had an administrator before that was here for maybe 8 years that was working 1 day a week, and recently he has resigned for many reasons. And so I commend you for you helping us through these times that we're through now.
Yes, thank you. And so thank you so much. I do want to mention that we are working with Jared, very basic level, to try to understand his budget work. Just so that we can try to figure it out.
He's a good guy.
But yes. Any other questions? Not, leave it to Deanna.
All right, Deanna, city clerk.
Okay, so counting down the month of your term, we've never been busier. I'm just playing. No, honestly, it's been with new mayor, it's been a super huge learning experience. I think we received a lot of changes, as in, I'm in city hall updates. Attorney, left us, but we got really awesome attorneys at the moment. With them, working with Javi, bridging the gap in some gaps that unfortunately were left behind by our former city administrator. And as well as I've never been more flooded from public information requests with everything going on with the city at the moment. The attorneys are so flexible and also so responsive. I think I sent an email and within less than 30 minutes, I have an answer. They're accessible. And not only do they answer my question, but they correct me. And then on top of that, they send me forms. And I mean, as city clerk, I really appreciate forms, especially when they come from the attorney. And they've just, added to my learning gap. And they as well, provide me with, almost, compliance loopholes, positive ones, as in how to complete a public information request successfully, but also without violating a timeline. And then honestly, it takes away a lot of the overwhelming part when you see that request come in, on top of all the other things that we're handling. Javi and the mayor have been crazy helpful as well, because not only are they moving through the motion of things, but they themselves are like, hey, we are swamped in paper. We no longer want this mess as well. Let's, cut it here, start working with the backlog. But at the same time, let's not add on to that backlog. How can we, help out? And they are also very compliant with my filing system. They're like, okay, this is gonna work. I think I'm handling a lot of official documents, which is good considering it's just sad sometimes. To say really. They are, doing the best that they can, and I think more. I think they deserve a little recognition, and I hope our attorneys or actual Dan would be here, because he's been taking the heat since he started. Yeah, but truly, even when he corrects me, I appreciate it. And then, working with backlogs and then creating master logs for permits. We are already hitting timelines of filing permits from the 90s. So really fun stuff from FEMA is coming up. And that's going to, public information requests are around the corner, so that is super helpful to have. We're finding out projects that we should have on file. And as much as it's work, I do thank the community for putting in those public information requests, because they're awakening a lot of work and important information in the office.
I hate to be, I'm sorry.
We're starting just master logs, and so we've never been, I think, stronger in workforce. I appreciate our attorneys, and never been busy.
I hate to be a pest, but I'm really concerned about that foundation work on the river road, because that, as we well know, I was here then, that's on the slope, and there was a motion made when we started that development that really needs to be inspected. Has Veritas been out to the site? That's my question.
So we
have a meeting next
we have a meeting next week.
Let me finish. I've been involved, I've been in this a long time. I've been in this game for 7 years. That slope property over there really concerns me, that it has to be done properly. It's not a conventional building lot. And, they had a cement truck there, they were drilling pilot holes. Did they submit any kind of plans or anything?
Yes, we have a meeting with them next week.
But they've already started, Mayor.
Yes,
That's
and so as soon as it was brought to our attention, we called them and we said, we need to have a meeting with you so that we can discuss it, and you and I can look at their
Well,
permits.
excuse me, Mayor, I'm sorry. I'm just asking a question.
I understand, but it's right in the middle of something else.
Well, if you're drilling holes
Yes.
in a slope, it
Yes.
needs to be inspected.
It
I used to be
does.
an inspector on
I
Bob.
get you.
Okay,
It's
that's
gonna
all.
be inspected,
Thank you.
and
Just let me know.
thank you.
Have a good day.
All right, Parks and Rec Advisory Board has a presentation.
Is there a park
Wait,
local
she didn't-
update?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so, just to bring it up to council, you know, I really, we've just always had trouble with, you know, complaints on signal. Is it truly signal? I'm not too sure. Only the citizens know and truly their conflicts, but, something that has been brought to my attention is the fact that they're not able to pay on site once they're already at the parks due to signal and our mobile app. And essentially, to bridge the gap, I was reached by a company called Flowbird, and they were offering some kiosks. And this is kind of just for the awareness of council. If they wish to put it on an agenda in the future, let us know and we will do so. So it's a kiosk to pretty much take payments, pay by plate. It's totally possible. They looked at our sites already, our phase one, let me finish. Phase one, and also Allen Bates, not really school because it's not an official park yet. But they've provided us some quotes at the time. I think this idea had come up before with Adrian, our former assistant city administrator. But the idea was so experimental because we hadn't had pay for parking for enough to justify the cost, because it is pricey. But you know, if enough complaints and you know the need grows amongst council and citizens,
Can they get on the app? Can they get on the app and pay while?
you want to elaborate, please? I know you mentioned a little on that.
I just have one point real quick, I'm sorry. Again, one point. A key, the kiosk cannot be put in the floodway, it'll trash that piece of equipment.
Yeah.
Most of our parks are in the
So if you
floodway.
would let us finish,
Okay,
I
just
can
make
get
a
to that with about the installation and about the maintenance and about the responsibilities as it is a very mobile unit.
Chief, did you have something to add to that?
So I do tell people that frequent the park, if you have a problem with, service, you know, take a picture of that barcode or that QR code and you can do it anywhere. You can do it anytime, you can put that in. At the top of the hill going to phase one, that's when you get down to the bottom, that's where the service is out. But I promise, when their vehicle gets towed or they're in the process of towing it, they're able to pay it fast. Either here or there, I'm not gonna. So, they do have access at some point in time. I've been going with the emergency management stuff and I know different carriers have different issues here. I've been reaching out to a lot of the carriers and saying, hey, I will say this to everyone here, I was gonna say it in my report next time, but if you have, whatever service you have, if you drop a call, you do anything, notify your carrier. Please notify your carrier. That's the only way they will come out and look at our stuff. I can't call them and tell them, but if everyone keeps notifying the carrier, hey, I keep dropping calls, no matter what your service is, they can come out there and look at it. It may be that our antenna just needs to be canned a little bit and make everybody have better service. So that's some things we're gonna look at, and we know that the legislature's already looking at that. So that's some things that we can do, but please notify your carrier every time you drop a call. But,
Wow.
that's.
You're gonna get a lot of calls.
Yeah, they will. Customer can be dropping calls, right? So anyway, either here or there, that's the problem down there. There is dead spots down at the bottom. So if they do park down there, they don't have it, but we have plenty of calls. We have plenty of QR codes that are there. As soon as you pull in, they know the sign's there that says if you don't pay, you'll get towed. I know if you go to San Marcos, you go to Austin, you go to San Antonio and park and you don't pay, you're gonna come back and your car's gone.
Yeah.
You know, and I hate to say it, and I hate that for the people, right? We hear all the issues with people going to our parks. You know, it's hot, everybody's found our parks. A lot of people don't wanna go to San Marcos, they don't wanna go to New Braunfels or whatnot. I think it's cost $20 to park at New Braunfels for like 5 hours. So, you know, it gets expensive. So ours are relatively inexpensive and we're rural. And it's a nice park. We got a nice, beautiful river.
Chief,
Yes, sir.
you know, my governor and I, we're the sign experts. How about if we put how would we put a sign up saying, poor cell phone coverage, go to the hill, or give instructions to?
So we had talked, something exactly what this kiosk is doing. We had talked and discussed it before about putting up a gate, sort of like a tower type gate at the entrance of phase one, at the entrance to these parks, and put the QR code way up high. So as soon as they go through, you know, they gotta slow down, get that QR code, and boom, it's gonna populate right there on their phone. And then all they gotta do is finish it up, right? But it's right there at the entrance, so we know they have cell service at the entrance. It's real high at that spot. Allen Bates is not an issue. The only place they don't have cell service is when you get down to the very bottom at the river. But at the parking area, it's all.
So you need a sign?
We need a big sign, I would say a big, nice sign, or do the same thing, have an entrance, have a proper entranceway. And I think I spoke to the, Parks Committee about this, have a proper entranceway, and so we can close these things down.
Excellent, I like it.
You know, I don't know who would be responsible for that, maybe the Parks Committee can have a volunteer, or, you know, citizen volunteer, just to shut those gates and open them up at different times. It needs to be, but neither here nor there, that's just some things that we do. But putting a kiosk near that thing would do the same. I think we do the same thing, and it would take it away from the cell phone service. It would have it there, it would
They
just
have
be-
those in Austin in the
But-
parking lot.
but-
They were really
But
well.
Tommy, we're in a floodway, problem.
She just said it was portable.
Well, sometimes it comes at 2:00 in the morning.
Okay, but go ahead.
I'll let it go.
So, this one in specific, the installation, it's a two by two concrete pad, right? So this thing is relatively small. And they say that they're essentially, if it comes to emergencies, not only are we working on the sirens, but there's all sorts of, you know, preventions that we could do in the case of that event. But essentially, every month, the 24/7 support, 138, they're in charge of if it breaks, if something gets jammed, if it just needs, you know, a monthly maintenance. If we need to get it removed, essentially, we can call them ahead and let them know, and they will go ahead and do it for us. Like, we're paying the guy that we don't have on site to be able to do that. We pay them, and they have multiple other kiosks around in the area, so we're not the only people they're servicing. So that's why it's relatively low of 138 a month. Sounds crazy, but it's the convenience of it. And that's the quote. It says 4G wireless communication. So this works on all forms of cell phone services. So it just picks up the strongest signal, and that's what it connects to. And even when you have problems connecting, and let's say everything is you would think, is it immediate? It is still immediate in the form that you get your ticket of proof of parking, and you can just display it on the front of your dashboard, and that's, you paid, right? So there's a way to everything. It's kind of just, when this idea was first introduced, the problem wasn't, oh, it's in the floodway, oh, it's in the concrete pad. The problem was the cost of it. But now that we've seen the results and how successful the parks can be, then it's like, maybe this is something that council may want to consider. And if it's truly a problem, which at the end of the day, the staff is the one that handles all the heat And our towing service is essentially also the one to handle all the heat of the problems that the paper parking creates. So, you know, council, just consider it, it's there, I'm not telling y'all to vote on it tonight, I'm just saying, these people reached out, it took me 10 minutes to get a quote, as in, you know, to get some form of agreement, to get this going. Just consider it, think about it,
Real
and
quick
y'all.
question. I hate to be a pest, real quick, Terry.
I was just gonna ask you, do they have any of these like by a river in a park? I mean, are any of them, is that anything that they've dealt with, or is that anything that's?
So I explained to them, and they even checked out the sites themselves.
Okay.
And they drove there, like, they came in person, and they drove that one, phase one, Allen Bates, and I told them, we're not interested in gold till, you know, we see some results on it. But I told them in the future, it could be a possibility.
It could pay for itself.
Mhm. And so they went ahead and they're like, well, let's go ahead and drive around, see the possibilities. They checked it out, I'm like, it's, you know, there's no spaces, so how can your kiosk work with that, the fact that there's no spaces? They're like, no, it's pay by play, you know, you handle your people, all you have to worry about is them making sure that they pay and the resource is there. It's no longer, oh, I cannot pay, or I was so close to paying.
Or I have a sticker and you didn't find it?
Yeah.
Hey, real quick question, just a very important question here. Do you know that river goes 20, 30 feet out of the water? So you need to ask them, if we put a kiosk down there and we get a 30-foot rise, are they gonna replace it? Or do we have to replace it? Because it's gonna crash anything down there.
I'm sure, I can go ahead and ask.
That's very
for
important
sure
question,
a
because-
question. However, I do think once it's a one-time purchase, so the minute you lose it, that's on the city. But at the same
That's a
time,
big
you're looking
problem.
at years,
It's a
if
big
you are to look at it in a smart manner, you look at the years of the revenue that the parks create in 1 year, and you see that cost, and you see that the staff gets away all the complaints, the staff gets because we get the yelling in the office, and not only that, but maybe we even, get the, you know, the elderly community that maybe is just too afraid to even deal with the app. So just, you know, I'm not saying that's the reality, but I'm saying these are all the possibilities.
It might be a good idea to try it in one and then
Right.
see if it works.
Just don't put it in
And
floodway.
The main problem really, you know, you see Allen
It's a
Bates and you
floodway.
see phase one, but our number one problem where we get the most complaints is phase one. So that could be a starting,
And it's on top of that hill. I just address it. It's on top of the hill up there. So everybody's got to drive past it. on
It
top
goes
of the hill.
underwater, Tommy.
Yeah.
It goes underwater.
And
It's not
even though it
suitable.
goes, you know, underwater, I also think we're still putting rocks to avoid people from driving into the thing. We're still putting logs to avoid people from, you know, parking in all sorts of ways. Like, we are still investing into our parks, so they're not gonna stay intact forever. The goal is not to stay the way they are. The goal is to every year be improving them a little more, and that's why I'm bringing up this possibility, because this could maybe bring up more people and take away many complaints.
Well,
If we decide that we want that to be an actual agenda item, y'all will let me know. Cause tonight was just a part of her report. It really wasn't intended. It really wasn't intended to be a full agenda item. It was just an idea.
Information.
Yes, information. So thank you for bringing that to our attention, and y'all can let me know if you want to discuss it further or not.
Can I just ask her to ask them one question though, because some that I have seen are portable that are on trailers. And then they move them in and out because they're on a trailer, as he mentioned, in a flooding situation. So do they have some of those on the trailer? Thank you.
Yeah, which is what I mentioned, the 24/7 support, that's essentially what you would do. You just let them know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so Parks and Recreation Advisory Board has some recommendations for city council. That would be you.
Yes, right here. I'm gonna sit here. I hope that's okay. Statement for council meeting, prepared by Jennifer Kraft, who's read by me, who's not so much.
No.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and neighbors. On behalf of the Parks Advisory Board, thank you for the opportunity to share feedback from our recent work in community engagement. Based on our park survey, the most consistent and urgent requests from Martindale residents were for shaded areas for families, ADA compliant restrooms, safe managed river access. We respectfully recommend the council consider prioritizing these items in the next phase of improvements. For example, portable restrooms may seem like a fast fix, but most residents have told us they don't meet expectations for hygiene, access, or long-term use. Now, Ramon Rivera brought in a picture of they're kind of portable, but they're like real restrooms, and they're kind of portable on a trailer. They go really like 3 to 4 at a time. So that's a real option that's out there that would be maybe just a temporary fix, but it'd be a great fix. Okay, Harrison, we also like to highlight a few low-cost, high-impact improvements, shading, erosion control, I think I read that, ADA-friendly paths, especially around play areas and restrooms. We are also working with staff to draft an ETJ annual park pass recommendation and GIS map update for Donna to track resident eligibility more easily. Lastly, thank you for supporting this volunteer board. We know, now this is typical Jenny, we know public service isn't easy, but your support helps ensure our parks reflect the needs of the families who live here. Thank you. This is from Jenny Kraft, and I'm just a spokesperson. On behalf of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board members. Ramon Rivera is the one who lives in the ETJ and has been pushing for the ETJ park passes for I don't know how long. It seems like a year or two, maybe 3. For whatever reason, it hasn't passed yet, but we really appreciate the council considering putting through this ETJ park pass. I think it's like $50 a year. I don't know where all the details on that are. I saw them somewhere. You guys have details on the ETJ park pass?
It's on your statement, the very last sentence.
Okay, okay.
Jeff, can I make a comment?
Sure.
If we're gonna do an annual pass, we ought to do it for everybody. ETJ people aren't special. Sorry guys, but I mean, it's, if you want to pass, it's an annual pass like the state does. You know, you do an annual, it's for everyone. If they want to pay,
Well, that's to be debated.
well, I guess that's why we have a council.
It's to be debated.
I agree. That's just my 2 cents worth. I'll be quiet. Sorry.
Everybody, well, the city people get their own pass, right? If you're a city resident, you get your own pass. I had I'm down at the river a lot. I had a family come from Converse, Judson down by San Antonio. We were meeting people from Buda. They came all the way here to Allen Bates Park, and he said, just as far as the $10 is concerned, this is best deal around. This is the best park around. We have no problems. We had a family come all the way from Crosby between Beaumont and Eustis.
Yeah.
They're coming over for the day. I've seen them come from almost to Galveston and come over here for the day. I mean, we really have something good, and we really need to take care of it, and we can start charging more if you really do some of these things that need to be done. And I've been here for 6 years waiting for all of this to happen, so I'll just stop talking.
Okay. Give up. Don't give up.
All right, next is a report from the Martindale Water Supply Corp liaison, Council Member McGovern.
I've been in touch with Steve. I'm actually gonna be at the board meeting on next Wednesday, and I'd like to report after that board meeting, but I have been talking with them, and as was brought up in the last meeting, there is obviously the main issue is the water line,
Capacity?
diameter, and it must be in a closed loop. And so there is really only one neighborhood right now that is on the radar where we can actually put the fire hydrants in. I'm gonna, discuss with the board about their participation and what guidelines they would give us in order to do it. But right now, as far as I understand from talking with Steve, I think you might have reached out to him as well, is that there's only on one subdivision that qualifies.
Which one is that?
Thompson.
Great.
But, you know, I mean, the whole is, and he also mentioned, and I had spoken to him a long time ago about it, their focus is on Greenhouse Road because they are down, they have 2 inches. So all their money or the funds right now for their work, so like, what would happen, when would 1979 get done as an example, or this neighborhood would get done to be able to upgrade the water line, and then it would then give the opportunity to improve, put fire hydrants in. The issue is that right now their main focus is greenhouse because it's well under pressurized, and their board right now is focusing on that. So I'll get some more clarification with them on Wednesday, but I will be on the agenda.
And can I just add one thing to show us here? I went to Martindale Water Supply and I got the map.
Oh, good.
So if you look at San Marcos River Ranch right here, at San Marcos River Ranch, they have 40 fire hydrants because that is something that is stated in a subdivision ordinance where you have to have fire hydrants 500 feet apart. So San Marcos River Ranch is a newer subdivision, so that's why there's 40 there. But if you look at the map and you see in all parts of Martindale, we have about 50 to 55 current water hydrants in our city. But as was mentioned, Crockett Street is a 4-inch water line and Hobson Ranch is a 6-inch water line. The Falls has a 3-inch water line. Spring River has an inadequate diameter of a water line. Greenhouse Road was mentioned right up here. And they're gonna be fixing that, Martindale Water Supply is, and it's gonna cost about $150,000. They will be putting 3 fire hydrants there. This map will be updated, probably by the time you speak to them on Wednesday. And so I'm glad they were able to share this map with us. But to really think, and one last thing, on 1979, there are 6 fire hydrants there. There's 4 along 1979 and 2 on the backside of 1979. So sometimes it has been mentioned that they think that there are no fire hydrants on 1979, but there happen to be 6 of them there. Skyview is on the map as well, but as many of you may not know, only 1 road in Skyview is in the city limits and the rest is in the county. But
How did that happen?
it's just the way it was zoned. And so I appreciate Martindale Water Supply being a rural water supply and that their obligation is to provide clean water for us in the city. They are not responsible for providing fire hydrants, even though they are putting it in their budget. They currently cost about $11,000 for each fire hydrant. And so we're looking at possibly, you saw the bid, right, Matthew, for 11,000, yes. And so we're looking at the Martindale Water Supply putting 1 fire hydrant in Hobson Ranch, and then the city will talk more and confer later within our budget constraints about perhaps helping. No. Martindale Water Supply can't get grants.
But I thought we designated Matthew to do all that stuff. I mean, great that you're helping, but I thought that was the person that we designated to be the liaison.
I just went because I was on the board of Martindale Water Supply for a while, and he was designated to do this on the 21st of June. So a certain amount of time lapsed between the 21st of June and where we're standing today. And so things only got updated within the last few days in terms of correspondence between the liaison and Martindale Water Supply. And so I did just communicate with him about that, but I wasn't in the deep trenches of trying to solve anything or reveal anything. I mostly just wanted to have this map for us to see, and I made no decisions or anything in respect to that, and I leave that to Matthew.
Well, thanks, Sam.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Matthew. You're the best, Sam.
Good job.
Yes.
So Matthew, we'll just put you back on for next council meeting so that you can talk about after you actually.
Is that enough time, or do you need to?
I believe so, yeah, because we just want to, we really just need the consent of the board, but there's, Sam knows, I've looked at the map, there's C3's being said their hand. We were hoping there was gonna be
I just wanted to make sure.
a lot more, opportunity to put more up than the water was available right now. We're gonna need to get a grant, someone's gonna have to get a grant to improve it. Because these properties are not gonna get improved, there's just no development pulling water that they can tag into. You know what I mean, that's really what the problem is, you know, so that's why greenhouses get in there. That's why Steve said they're just starting with one, because that's the worst of all of them with regard to water pressure.
All right, thank you, one and all. Let's see, new business. Motion to approve June 19th and July 10th regular city council meeting minutes. We've got minutes at long last. We have minutes. Anyone? Motion?
Motion to approve the minutes of June 19th and July 10th.
My second.
We have both of them in the packet or just?
Uh-huh.
I only saw the June 19th.
Are they both in there, Deanna? I thought they were.
I could have missed it.
No, it's only the 19th, isn't it? I'm sorry.
Running with scissors, running with scissors. June 19th, I think that's it.
So let's just do the 19th and we'll put the next one in.
There you go.
All right, let's do it.
Go ahead, Maury.
I motion that we approve the minutes from June 19th, 2025, and we table approving the minutes from July 10th, 20.
Did we do that right?
No, it's fine.
Sounds thrilled with our performance.
Yes. She's like, I'm not gonna introduce any new ones, you guys, really.
All right, we got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, moving on. The next one is what? Motion on the park committee recommendations. So, formally, Jeff, was your recommendation limited to a, ETJ pass for the $50 annual fee, or did it include the, upgrades to the park that you mentioned about bathrooms and other things?
I think it was mainly the ETJ $50 pass.
And the other information was just FYI.
Right.
Here's what our survey
That's
showed.
my understanding.
Yo, they had over 100 respondents on that survey. That is the most outstanding survey we have had in this town since I moved here. It was head and shoulders above any of the other community input surveys we've had.
Mayor, if I may.
Please.
For this motion, I would suggest, or this action, I would suggest that the action be to have it listed as a particular item on a next agenda, opposed to a final action, as it wasn't specifically listed for that. So that people may come and comment. I understand that there was a lot of response.
Yeah.
But so that people may, understand that that final action will be made at a meeting.
Okay.
So that would be my recommendation.
Excellent. We'll do it. Thank you.
Good advice.
Where did you go to school? Just kidding.
Okay, got it. And next, motion to designate Councilmember Maury Domingo.
Good.
Better? To assemble.
Don't ask her to say it again.
No, that's it, once a night. No, I said it during the roll call. To assemble, I walked around the office the other day marching, and I just said your name until I could say it without forgetting. Okay, assemble and lead a subcommittee to develop a citywide road repair and maintenance plan, including estimates of costs and budget or bond recommendations as appropriate. It will not take any direct action on road repairs or maintenance other than planning. You will bring back and report all plans and recommendations to the council. The council will then consider them on its own and decide what to go forward with. Did I say that right? So, that's such a big it is, because I wrote it wordy because I wanted to make sure council
It was
understood
specific.
that it's like they're not, he came and asked about doing that, and it would not be that they're just gonna go out and like willy-nilly start doing things that is,
We would only
yeah.
produce a plan that we
Yeah.
can bring back to council.
Yeah,
for
cause
council
it's
to look
too
at and
big for,
That sounds like an amazing idea.
you know what I mean? Like, it's too big for us to get through in meetings. Somebody needs to do the work and come back and say, okay, let's talk about this.
Okay.
And then we can have a town meeting about it once we're good with it. But the first thing to do would be to inventory the roads and to get a map sort of similar to what Sam showed us, that could show us all the roads that we have within the city. And apparently it's not as clean as the actual city limits. There's an agreement between the city for which roads they maintain, even some of them inside our city limits, and vice versa. So we need to understand which roads we are responsible for. And then inventory their condition. And then the idea would be to put together a long-range plan, 5 to 10 years, and take the worst roads and prioritize them first, all the way down to the best ones, they would be last. And then once we get all the roads up to a standard, have an ongoing maintenance plan to make sure that the roads don't fall out into the condition that Northwest River roads and some of the other roads are in. We've got, I believe, around $25,000 a year, which is a very inadequate number.
We need grants.
We need grants. I think we might, of course, we would only come with recommendations. We could take a look at the city's emergency budget and the amount of income that it's producing each year. We might be able to augment the 25,000 safely with some number from that. Want to find grants, and then work with the county. And the idea would be, once we have our plan published and our prioritized streets published, they have a season that you probably know, they have a season that they work in, and at times, they have days, weeks that come open. And if we know we have $75,000 a year, and if we have published our priority, then they can go in and take care of the roads within our budget that correspond to our priority.
One suggestion I have for you.
Yeah, sure.
I'll give you his, the mayor's guy's, Donald LeCurk.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
He has been doing road construction for 40 years. He's an expert.
I actually had the opportunity to
Oh,
be there.
he is an expert.
Extremely.
He's the one, they're the one that did Lockhart Street, for example. That, like I said earlier in the conversation, a lot of our roads are really good. The foundation's good. The problem is they never have been maintained. They never have chip seal. So what he did over in Lockhart Street, he did an overlay, and then a year or so later, put chip seal. So if you put chip seal over it, it does preserve it.
He said exactly the same thing.
He gave me an education.
Same.
There you go.
And I couldn't agree with you more. I think that
He's the man.
He's a solid guy. They've got great equipment.
They did a great job. Did you? I mean, I don't want to talk too much, but when they did that Lockhart Street, it was amazing.
I agree.
They had a guy on a grader, and he bladed that thing with that asphalt, and they rolled it. It was.
And put a crown on it.
And they did it in like 3 days.
Right.
It's amazing.
The man doesn't mess around.
He's amazing. So I'll let you.
As the liaison to assemble and lead a subcommittee, develop a citywide road repair and maintenance plan.
I second that.
All right.
Any discussion?
You and your presence, of course, is greatly great to receive. But if someone wants to get in touch with you, could they leave a note in your box here, or how?
Did you know that you have a box here? We don't have a box here.
How would you
Alright.
I got an email. I have an email. It's published on.
I just got off of your door.
The city, email. My city email address would be the best way to reach out to me. I check that a lot more than the box I just learned about.
Don't forget about that.
That's it. That's all I wanted to
Yeah.
know. It's only been there since June the 12th.
Anyways, okay.
And
Any
don't,
other-
that is to all of us, Maureen,
any
everyone.
other conversation about this topic?
I think I'll talk to them.
clap for Maureen.
Anybody in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, the motion passes.
Congratulations, Barry.
Thank you.
All right, next, we have the first reading of the ordinance that that Sam has been asking for years. And, it is on protecting the natural environment by regulating activities disturbing landscapes and waterways, which includes trees, and heritage trees.
Was this written by Jared?
Yes, it was, and then we sent it to, the new attorney firm who read through it. I think the city planner read through it. So there are comments on the side that she just wanted us to discuss in our discussion. And then this is the first reading. Our ordinance says we read things twice. So we're not going to vote on it tonight. We're just gonna discuss it, I guess.
If you require 2 readings, you'll vote on it twice. So, yeah, you'd vote on it this evening as a first reading. Since there are comments for resolution, you give direction to address all of those, and then all of those would be addressed, and then you'd have your final.
Okay, gotcha. All right then. So, assuming that y'all read ahead, did you have specific comments on any of the comments that the attorneys gave us? For example, responsible official. Yes, Terry?
I'm just a little confused, because
Okay.
it says, insert the missing section. Do they mean the part that's underlined, or do they mean?
No, section XX.XX should have a number there. for
Okay, so
what
just
ordinance.
insert the number.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was, if I may.
Go right
I
ahead.
mean, we have responsible official, obviously was an issue. We have no other definition, so we're only gonna have one definition. I find that extremely
Maybe.
unlikely that we would write a whole thing with only one definition.
Okay,
I'm just,
so what would we like to have as our definition for responsible official? And then we can decide what other words we want to have defined.
I believe if we default to the way that we have other officials is, like we do for I think it's a building inspector, we have a separate building inspector. It also included in that the backup, like who is the person replacing that party if it's available. So, if it's not, a building official, it would default to a city administrator or,
Okay.
you know what I mean, something of that ilk. I don't know I really don't know, we don't have anyone.
Mhm.
We haven't made it, or been presented or even have an option of how we're gonna morph into this next potential, situation if we're gonna replace that person or not.
Which person?
The building inspector, we're not doing that anymore. Veritas is in essence taking that over, right?
Mhm. But not ordinances. They only do construction.
Construction,
So they don't even deal with, they do
so we
like.
still have an ordinance void in a position, so.
Very much so.
I see in section 1.05 erosion and sediment control standards that they refer to the responsible official. And
Yeah,
that's
what we're talking about.
saying. I mean, we don't even have a job title for that. I mean, we don't even have a person that's doing that. So if we could get some clarity as to what responsible official means, I mean, because it goes into cut and fill and certain developments. It just uses the word development. It doesn't really say about, say, certain cut and fill things that we have going on now that you and I and others are familiar with, say, with gravel pits that may be grandfathered in, that are cutting and filling more than 4 feet, because it said that, in a part of it, that the cut and fill.
You're talking about 103 near the bottom in section 4?
Yeah, wait, let me just find it, because it
Or
says, cut and fill, and it says in a state permitted sanitary landfill or a sand or gravel excavation only if, and this is a broad statement here, the cut and fill does not hydraulically altered for the worse the 100-year floodplain. I mean, what really does that mean? I mean, we have all alterations in a gravel pit on Southeast Road that are occurring, but it's possibly grandfathered in. Some more clarity on that type of thing about cut and fill is not.
What would you like it to be? Y'all are the council, what do you want this to say? It's your ordinance.
This already is discussed, in another ordinance. I mean, they already discussed this, that we cannot cut and fill in the 100-year. It's already there, and it's also covered by, and it's referenced in here quite often, TCEQ. Because it's hard, the city, as I understand, the city can't write a rule that a state association has power over, the TCEQ has ultimate control or ultimate power, like, as you know, for the gravel pit. The gravel pit permit is done from TCEQ, and then there's a GP permit, no permit pit for any destruction of land over, I think it's an acre, for construction purposes. Which is, like Lanzola's got some fencing up now. Obviously, they got a memo that they had to do it because they were doing more than an acre of destruction. But the city can't write an ordinance that overstates what they're, what they're looking. All we're doing is saying you cannot alter the 100-year floodplain, which is, it's already there in our ordinance. We already have somebody that says something to that effect, that you cannot alter the floodway, the floodplain and the floodway.
Well, then the part 4 of all other applicable city code provisions are met. I mean, that may not be a very strong statement. And if you say that TCEQ has hierarchy over our own city codes.
Yeah, they do.
So.
But why does that interfere with that? It just says all other applicable city code provisions are met. That just means they are meeting our city code. That's it. It doesn't really have anything to do with what TCEQ is doing. TECQ?
And Mayor, another thing that you could do is, because there are a variety of things that do need to be kind of worked out, including defining a few other things, maybe, to your point. You can designate someone, to work with Amanda, I think who's been doing the commenting on here, to get some of these things resolved, and then you come back for another first reading where you actually vote on it, so that you can have more concrete understanding of some of these pieces and to cross-reference appropriate things. So that is something else that you can do to make sure all these things are kind of tackled. But so you have a designated person who can, make some discretion calls that are then brought to council and can be presented by that person saying, this was something I decided based on this conversation. This is how we could change it if you don't like it, or something to that effect.
Right.
So that could be a way to work through some of these things, get some better definitions.
Good suggestion.
So let's just talk in broad terms, Sam, that's what I think that's basically what we're getting. Let's talk in broad terms, like, Sam, are there any other trees other than the trees mentioned that you want to be included as a tree to save? You know what I mean? I think those are the things.
Bastard cabbage. Well, I mean, I think that this is a time where maybe if you're being serious, then you flag those trees, right? You go put a yellow ribbon around them, or whatever it is that you're wanting us to acknowledge. Identify them.
Yeah, well, here it does say that, mostly oak, elm, sycamore, bolt, cypress, madrone, and pecan trees. And it does say that if it's like a hackberry or the less desirable trees, that those are not referenced as much to being safe, because they're basically saying those are trash.
If they're less than 16 inches in diameter,
really any.
Which I think is really well done, because you get I've had Bartlett at my house do work, and I've had the Texas Park and Wildlife come to the house and actually go down to the park. And he always says, anything that's on the bank, I don't give a rat's patootie what it is. If it's holding the bank, it's a good tree. Right. But he says the same thing. Anything, a big tree's a big tree, but a hackberry's a hackberry.
Chinaberry's a chinaberry.
If you could get rid of a ligustrum and put a native tree in, life is good. In the long run, it might take 5-7 years for you to change the balance of life, if you will, but in the long run, it's a better environment that we'll be creating by doing that. My wife and I have discussed many times about how many times I'm gonna cut down trees on our fence line that the birds, created many moons ago because they seeded them out, and they're all trash trees. I'm not cutting them down until I have a solution to change them. So I thought Jared did really good about picking a thickness of a tree. So he had 16 inches in diameter, which is a pretty big tree. We don't want to disturb those. So, I mean, if you want to read through that, Sam, and, maybe.
Real quick, do we want to mention disease tree?
It's in there too. It's in
It
there.
says with oak wilt, you have to spray them.
Spotted or?
Excellent. I've seen people, even the cemetery guy cut them and he sprayed. I was so excited. He sprayed it. Well, because a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
And then it spreads. Once it gets into one tree, it's easy for it to spread to all the other trees. And you cannot save a tree once it has the wilt gets in there. It's done. If beetle gets in there, it's done.
Well, I originally wanted to have a heritage tree ordinance about 3 years ago when the development on the Lanzola or the old Conrad property started on Northwest Road. And if you look at where the sidewalk is being installed there and you look farther into the land, they have all those big oak trees there. And they're tending to park their work trucks and their vehicles right up next to the oak trees. And so there's no barrier of netting or fencing or anything that is within the drip line of those trees. Also recently at Taco Feliz, they're building a brand new building there that's 2 stories tall. I went over there and measured the pecan tree that's right there by the driving lane. It's got a 60-inch diameter of that trunk. And if you look at it, it's about 3 feet across that tree. As I look down to the base of the tree and where the driveway is going to be is 1 foot from the base of that tree. And that is something that does say if the root zone is imperiled more than 25%, that they need to take action. Since then, I have talked to the contractor there and said, could you please put some pervious pavers there in the distance around where that pecan tree is, because that is a heritage pecan tree. So I'm looking at this, and I did work in the Presidio of San Francisco for 20 years where I retired, so I'm very familiar with trees. And so I appreciate the ordinance and how it will hopefully protect oak trees and heritage pecan trees, which we have a lot of in this town. So, yeah, we may need to delegate one person once you read it over and all of us, and then we'll talk about changes.
Yeah,
I read it, but I can't tell you that I understand all of it.
Most of it was very good, I thought most of it was very good. I had a few little squirrely things, but generally speaking, I thought it was well written.
Yeah, good.
These are the kind of things I have to read.
So is the idea to mark it
More
up
than
and then assemble the markups and review it again next?
I think, Sam wants to read this a little more and eat it up a little, right?
Okay.
Yeah, is that what I'm reading from you?
But other people have comments on the document too, I've heard?
Yes, I think so.
Does Sam want to be the assembler of the comment?
There you go.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
Is that all right, Matthew?
I have no problem with that. He's more curious than anybody.
Yeah, all right.
Well, he's supposed to.
Comments to Sam, and then Sam will assemble it into the document.
Send it to us. For comment.
And
All right.
if he doesn't, he can work with Amanda and make some kind of judgment calls and then come back and present those, because you'll have this document and you'll have whatever the revised portion are.
Are we allowed to get him now, if it's not?
Now, because it's tangential to the item, and so to get it accomplished, yeah.
All right, well then, I will motion that we nominate Sam Houston Clinton to assemble all of our comments into one common set of comments and liaise with our legal team to produce a final version of the document.
I'll second that.
Well, that was quick.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
Next. Oh, yeah, this one, we are under We're not really. We've been seriously told to seriously consider that we don't have rules for procedure and decorum. Both TML and our city's attorney firm would strongly recommend that we would have far fewer problems if we had those. So we need to start working on those. If I could just ask you, one suggestion the attorney's firm had was that we should be looking at other cities' rules of procedure and rules of decorum that are cities that are type A cities, because we don't want to compare ourselves to large cities that we don't have anything in common with, and who are allowed to have a charter where they can have a lot more freedom and flexibility with whatever their procedures are. So if y'all want to just start keeping an eye out for those, maybe do a couple of Google searches for other type A cities and see what you can find. And then we can bring them back and figure out if we want to have a person assemble some ideas for us, or if we want to just like take it section by section, do a little bit each meeting, and start working on getting that together.
So that doesn't include like Robert's Rule of Order?
It does.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we are gonna talk about that. We're gonna include that. But what are the other?
Because you can make up your own rules and not rely on some of the rules of Roberts if you find a different procedure or a different standard, or there's like some stuff that Roberts rules just doesn't address.
Okay.
And so then like maybe we want a certain rule that you don't see in anything, but you know that it's something that's been an issue.
Okay.
So then you can just say, well, I think we should talk about that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Or like any kind of consequences or any kind of anything that we just want it to be ours.
Okay.
So it could be really anything. We just need to get it on paper so that we all have a standard understanding. Yes, sir?
There was I know I sent you an email on this, and we'll not talk about that email per se, but there was a resolution in 2018 from 9/11. It was number 3. It was a consent item that the council approved for how to handle putting stuff on the agenda and things like that, and I don't see it on the internet. So I don't know if that's something that has not happened or is.
That form, you mean?
It was a resolution that was passed by the council, and a consent item in 2018, September the 11th. It was the 3rd one on there, and it's not on the website.
I have no idea. We have so many boxes of unorganized papers sitting everywhere that we have been trying to go through.
They were all supposed to have been scanned before, so.
They're not.
So to speak on that and to sort of like to Deanna's point, Deanna's also trying to figure out, there's a bunch of other ordinances that are not published on Legal. And some, that's like, Deanna and I have worked close to try to figure out what exactly is passed and what needs to get published and such. There's been multiple times where I try to look at legal and I'm like,
I know that's been going on for forever.
And there are a lot of things that are just missing. So if you have a copy of that and you want to provide it to us, that would
I
be
don't,
great.
that's before my time.
Yeah.
So,
Welcome to the
I
public.
referenced that resolution.
but more importantly,
Where is the
I'll send an email. I think there's a way to get it, but.
Yeah, there is a way to get it.
There's a way to get it, but I'll do it with that later. Okay, but I don't like to reinvent the wheel if it's something that the council previously did. I'm not saying that to make it better, because I know it's probably not complete, but I'd like to at least know what.
Look at it.
What it said.
Exactly, what
What it said. We don't even know. There are many things like that.
I've heard what it said because I know who's the mayor, and he has told me over a cocktail what it said, but, you know, I'm not gonna quote him on that conversation. It was a couple years ago too, so. All right, perfect. Thank you.
Yep. So if you guys would just assemble that information and bring it back to us so we can start looking at what we're dealing with and what kinds of things are appealing to us as a council, because it's designed by us. All right, that is all for that. Future agenda items, anybody have additional agenda items?
I had a budget, but you addressed that, so.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. And we've started filling in budget things on the calendar as well. Oh God, I am so sorry.
What?
I didn't change Thanksgiving.
Again?
Don't look.
Oh my goodness.
It's Thanksgiving on
Post that.
It's
It's an ongoing joke that's been going on for a whole.
it's down there. It's on the wrong day.
Holiday on the 20th.
You can't.
It's always
Yeah, I knew exactly what you.
Is it on the 20th?
When is it?
Yeah,
really?
it's on
The 27th.
It's the
You got a marker?
Yeah.
It's right.
Let's just get it done.
Am I allowed to do that without a motion?
Yeah.
Yes.
We won't tell anyone here.
Oh, man.
Now it's fixed.
Oh, thank God. Matthew, you can relax again. You can breathe easy.
I might be able to sleep tonight.
Yes.
For the reminder portion of the P and Z commission meeting
Oh,
on
right.
August 19th. Y'all received an email from me a couple weeks ago with, the application and then another the same application but with the 20% notice. So please look at that. She's provided really good feedback on what she recommends and what she thinks the city should do with it.
The city planner, Amanda.
Yeah, city planner, Amanda, she provided good notes on what the application should look like and such. We should be getting out the agenda next week.
All right.
And I know that Laura, you and I both have been speaking about the city pride signs with TxDOT and.
Oh, yeah, we'll get that.
And how, hotel motel tax, which we have probably about $43,000 in there. And I know Maury was on the Visit Martindale committee and it had a lot to do with establishing what's the number of the nonprofit
501c3.
Right, and so we have that, and so I think once we get through some of these other hard-hitting issues that we can start to work on the city pride, and I'll consult with you on that, Maury, and I think we need to get some signs out on.
Yeah.
I've got to recuse myself from that organization,
Yeah.
given my
Yeah.
ownership. of the building across the street, because before I was city council, then it was perfectly fine, I believe, for me to be a part of that, but I really can't. And this conflict, it's a major.
Well, then we'll.
Yes. Yes.
But I'll add those topics to the agenda.
Thank you.
Anything else that needs to be on our future agenda items? Anyone?
Well, we never finished the supplemental use table. Remember how we went through that? Well, you weren't even here then, but we went through that many years ago. And we never finished it, but I think also you have the attorneys reviewing our ordinances, our planning and zoning ordinances. Because we mentioned that as a.
Yeah, because there've been some updates, legal updates from the most recent legislative session, so we need to just make sure that we're still in compliance with things.
Okay.
Or if we weren't, we are.
And just, I mean, I want people to know that we are working hard on things, but we have an antiquated wastewater treatment plant. We're trying to work with our Martindale water supply and all that. So I know things have been moving slow, but we hope to really try and advance this into the future here.
All right, well then, anyone want a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn at 8:56.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.